Okay, Luigi, we are now in Newtown. Remember Newtown? This is where our first encounter was. Well, we're not right near where we were, the CES. But now we're at the front of this mural, which incidentally is an Amnesty International mural. But when I look at the images on the mural, I can see a picture emerging. I mean, an image emerging. Like everything seems to relate to this toner head scourge, right? Or the technologists who've been caught up in this, because technologists, nerds, geeks, they're the ones who will build a better photocopier, right? And this is and photocopiers in their current state are difficult machines to build anyway. They require huge teams, right? So now we look at the image and we examine this basic three parts to this image from what I can tell. So what we look up here is we see these poor little characters in chains, right? You've probably seen this image. They're like, of course, people in concentration camp, right? So copier culture is often represents the seedy side of life, you know, the political malfunctions, the social injustice, human rights abuses. It's become a tool for the people, the photocopier. 1970s primarily, or 60s primarily, 70s, 80s. Of course, images I associate with are people in gas masks, you know, the old anti-war stuff, you know. So this is written right through me, Luigi. So basically we got the people in concentration gear. They're all, they number from the size of the people are indeed from the left are large, and they graduate down to the small as we go to the right. And basically to me they represent the toner heads, or people tied up with this photocopying debacle that Luigi I did, right? So of course we've got the hierarchy. We'd be at the upper end of the spectrum to the left, the big ones. And the other ones, the smaller ones, well, maybe the ones who are purely, you know, maybe the zine writers, but then we can't underestimate them because we just don't know how big some of these toner heads really are. I thought I was just nothing but an enthusiast, caught up in the crowd, a nobody. So I underestimated what I was. Now the next part of the image we analyse are the dark grey heavy figures down the bottom. I don't know exactly what they are, but judging by the little, I don't know, they look like, they've got little things that they're holding that look like weapons. They look like some kind of knives or you know, they look like a weapon, like a knife, some kind of knife or something that can slash, you know. They represent, I guess, can we say, the people of the world, the people who are taken up in evil, right? And basically they're the ones who, and again, their ranking is indeed the same situation. We got them from the left. They're the big high rankers. We could say that, you know, certain political figures or terrorist figures could represent the high end of the spectrum, and the small end of the spectrum, well, they could be everyday Joe Blogs, right? They could be the teachers. They could be the people in the public service. You know, small people, everyday people. But then of course we've got everything else in between. Same with the toner heads. We've got a high end and a low end, and we've got everything else in between. Okay. And what do those colourful figures represent? Well, they represent death. They represent collateral. They represent basically what happens when you take a whole bunch of people who are supposed to be engaged for good, and you put them in, you clap them in irons, and they're not doing anything, or they're not doing anything useful. So we got here the two ringleaders of the copier world. Essentially, this one had been an idiot, and I just had to tilt the camera because someone's walking past. So we got the two so we know that when we take ringleaders, whether even in the evil world, we take out the ringleaders, or in a bullying gang, we basically fragment, or we basically, you know, we take out the ringleaders, we basically take out the bully power. But the same thing can happen for the goodies too. So we clap the toner heads in irons, the two toner heads at the top of the hierarchy. Well, it wasn't you were the one who was giving me the warning, but basically I took you down, and this is what and this is the toner heads, and all the toner heads have been clapped in irons, and all the people who are not knowing themselves as toner heads, the technologists primarily, and then of course we might even have other splintered off groups too. but we'll just mention mainly them. So and then all the other stuff, all the colours of the world, the different races, the different that have been slaughtered, right? Slaughtered through all sorts of events, whether it be industrial accidents, it could be, again, tilt the camera, you don't want to record, we all know we got these dreadful privacy laws which are collateral damage again. So we've got people of the world, we've got people victim of industrial accidents, we've got people who could indeed have been, Fukushima is another example, right? Mistakes, human error, because technology had failed, right? We've also got terrorist events that have caused lots of damage. We've also got pedestrian style crime, you know, what the law of, well, I'll call it homicide, so people have slaughtered each other, whether it be on the street or in the home. Right, it's what we call homicide. So homicide, normal homicide, common homicide. Alright, so then we got all, so basically we got the upper end of, we got all sorts of activities that have caused human death, right? Death. So these are the people who've been splattered by, and of course the overriding theme is good and evil. So we got, but of course we all know that the people involved, the people here we see in grey who represent the oppressors, in my opinion, they're victims themselves, right? But they've basically been taken into the service of evil, and they've unfortunately been duped themselves, but they don't know what they are doing. But basically they are the bullies of the world, and they come in different sizes, different shapes, but the little characters, but it's not just toner heads, but we just don't want to get too detailed here, but we say that the toner heads are the major victims here, or the technologists who can help build this, because the copier has been implicated by evil as a threat. We won't go and map this out, but there you go. That's why we are suffering. That's why Luigi, I'm very unforgiving of what I've done. Every day I leave my father's house, every day I come home to my father's house, I am self-flagellating all the time. I cannot forgive myself, Luigi. I cannot forgive myself. You could have given me lap of luxury, you could have given me all the things beyond my wildest dreams. I could have been a help, but I became a disruption. And I hate myself at the moment, Luigi, for what I've done. Right? My family, everyone hates me. I'm a suck. Right? So basically I don't like being a suck. I don't like being bullied. I don't like being left alone to be here we go, we've got coroner's list there. But you know, it's an ambulance. But of course someone could have easily been slaughtered. It could have also been an accident caused by a malfunctioning piece of equipment, a fire, whatever. And that could be a death, and hopefully that is not a death, so, or an injury. So there we have it. I better can this. Goodbye, Luigi. But there we are. But we've got to untangle this nonsense, right? So we've got to unclap the toner heads from the iron and whoever else is associated loosely or tightly with this, and let the oppressors, well, we've got to not antagonise them, but we've got to basically, and here we go, we've got another vehicle going by, and it's a police car. Okay, that means we have, this could be a crime. Someone's committed a crime and someone's got injured by a crime or killed, or might be killed, so there you have it. So that's it. So we've got to fix the problem. We've got to basically learn and teach the oppressors, but then we can't antagonise the oppressors and start doing an activist thing, okay? We're not going to be activists in the classic sense. We're going to be Christian activists, but we've got to, and therefore we've got to do it by the word, the Bible, and peacefully. And so that there won't be any more slaughter of the people in the background, the coloured people. So the good and evil, the toner heads indeed could be mostly the good, the oppressors are the anti-copier people or the anti-Christian people, but we won't get too into this because this is a long, this will be a big upload, so I better go. But we've got to fix the problem peacefully, Luigi. But I love you and I hope to see you soon. And I'll just give you a quick brief image of my face to say I look forward to meeting you this Christmas, Luigi. I hope to do so. Goodbye, Luigi. Goodbye, COPIER-MAN. And this picture will hopefully become something different, okay? Alright, goodbye.